Okay. Shh, it's okay, it's just me. Yes, I got a call from Dad. He said you're not doing too well. Of course I came for that. Listen, while Mom and Dad are on vacation, I'm not gonna leave you to your own devices when you're not well. Yeah, I drove here as soon as I could. Shh, forget about that. Technically, I had a date, but trust me, it wasn't worth it. I know it's kind of a cliche to get like an emergency call and then ditch a date, but this time it was for real, so I don't even need to feel bad. Of course I came. Oh, goodness. Do you have a fever? Are you being delirious? Listen, I don't care how much of a little pest you can be sometimes. You are still my lovely little sibling that I love with all my heart. And as your big sister, if I hear you're not doing well and you need someone to take care of you, I'm gonna drop everything and come. Right? Yes, I brought Mom's whole arsenal, so we're gonna make sure to use every single home remedy we have to make you feel better, okay? Alright. Yes, you do feel rather hot. Is there anything else? Oh yeah, I can see that. Definitely have a runny nose. Hold on. I did bring you some tissues. Here you go. You can use it by yourself, or do you need my help? Yeah, I'm just kidding. I know, you're a big kid now. You can do it by yourself. I'll leave these right here next to you, alright? So just grab them whenever you need them. Alright. So it's throat itchy. Yeah, you're hot. But you're feeling cold on your feet. Okay. Alright. I say we take your temperature. Just open your mouth. Alright. And we're just going to wait until it beeps, and then that was fast. You do have a bit of a fever. Alright. Well, I figured, but it's always good to double check. Alright, so let's see. First of all, let's take care of the whole hot and cold situation. I brought this little guy. I'm going to put cold water in it. And we're gonna just put it on your forehead. And it should help you feel less hot and sweaty, alright? Okay. We'll leave it right there on your forehead. And then for your feet, I did bring a hot water bottle for you. Yeah, trust me, it does wonders for me when I have period cramps, so it's definitely going to keep your feetsies nice and warm, okay? Alright, I'll just put that under the blanket where your feet are. Okay, I'll get you nice and covered. Are you nice and comfy? Okay, wonderful. Alright, next up we have Mom's classic elixir of health when it comes to stuffy noses. We have Vicks Vapor Rub. Take a whiff. Yeah, right. Immediately goes in those airways. And it has a lavender scent, so it's gonna be nice. Alright. Just lift up your shirt for me so I can rub it all over your chest, and it's gonna help you breathe, okay? So we're gonna take the blanket back a little bit. Keep your shirt up. Alright. We'll get some and then all over your chest and up your neck a little bit. Okay. Just to wipe the rest of that off. Oh yeah, Mom has used it on us since I was a baby, so it's been a proven method. And if it works when Mom does it, it's gonna work if your big sister does it as well. Yeah, you already feel like you can breathe better? That's great. That's great. Alright. Yeah. My day took me to Taco Bell. I came straight from there. So you see, I really didn't miss out on too much. Alright, so I did have these guys still in my car from when I was sick a few weeks ago. They're from Trader Joe's Honey Lemon Cough Drops. They have menthol cough suppressant and are an oral anesthetic for cough relief and to soothe sore throats. So I think you'll appreciate these. I did have a couple, but there's still some left in here for you. See, they're just little guys, and you just pop them in your mouth and suck on them. And they're gonna make you feel all better. Here. Yeah, right? They taste good. I'll put the rest of these guys on your nightstand, so if you need any more, feel free to grab some, okay? So I also took a look in Mom's medicine cabinet. So it seems that you guys are with low on NyQuil, but I believe this should be enough for just one spoon for you before you head to bed, alright? Yeah. Just give you a spoonful of this after we're done with everything else, and then that should knock you out and help you fall asleep. And you should feel better once you wake up again, okay? Alright, we'll keep this right over here. Now, is there anything else your big sister can do to keep you comfy? Okay. Yes. Oh, goodness. Trust me, when I was your age, Mom and Dad would always do their yearly parent-only vacation, and it was the best time because I had the whole house to myself. Didn't really throw parties, but usually I would have my besties come over and we'd have a little sleepover with pizza and video games. Fortunately, after you were born, that kind of stopped because then they always hired a babysitter to watch us. Well, they really only were there to watch you, but definitely kind of restricted me in my freedoms. But it's okay. It's okay. You know I don't hold grudges, especially not against you. So you did plan to throw a party. Well, I guess that didn't quite work out for you, did it? I'm telling you, it's for the better. I have never been stupid enough to host a party once Mom and Dad were gone, but I have attended some parties of other kids who did, and let's just say it never ended well for them. So trust me, I know it sucks that you're feeling sick right now, but actually you did dodge a pretty big bullet there. Oh no, you're not gonna ruin their vacation. I already talked to Dad on the phone and I told him to stay with Mom at the vacation and just come back next week like they planned. I'm gonna stay in the guest room here to take care of you. I do have to go to work, but if you do need anything while I'm gone, you can always text or call Beverly. No worries. She owes me, and I already sent her a text, and she couldn't say no, so she's gonna be on call if you need anything, and she's gonna come over and just make sure you're all set, or if you need to, take you to the doctor's office. But I'd say we'll wait and see how you develop overnight and then tomorrow. And if you still feel bad, like this bad, by tomorrow at noon, Beverly's gonna take you to the doctor's office. Or if you feel alright but feel worse later in the day, I can take you to urgent care when I come back from work. And we'll see how long they have to keep you out of school. Lucky you. Oh, sorry. I know you're not feeling up to much mischief right now. You're feeling exhausted and sick and gross. Trust me, I know the feeling. But if you end up being well enough to go back to school and Mom and Dad are still gone, I can drop you off at school before I head to work. And then Beverly is gonna pick you back up. Yeah, no worries. No worries. She is off the whole week because she's studying for her exams, but she has the time to collect you really quick. Don't worry about that. Don't worry your pretty head. Your sister has it all under control. Of course, they don't call me world's best sister for nothing. Well, at least that's what it says on the mug that you gave me for my birthday a couple years back. Alright. Yes, we're gonna make sure you stay nice and cozy when I come back from work. If you're awake, I'll make you some soup. And if you feel well enough, maybe we'll watch some Disney movies together. Alright? Yeah, I think that sounds like a plan. You want me to tell you about my date? Oh. Honestly, there's not a whole lot to say, So, say we met at Taco Bell, ordered some food, and then I tried to have a conversation, but he wasn't really good at holding it. Yes, I was doing like 90% of the talking. So that already kind of told me I would want to cut it short if I can. And then Dad called me, so that was pretty much it. No, I don't think I'll see him again. I'm sure he's nice, but I just don't like, feeling like I just talk to myself. Like, I might as well be single if I have no one to hold a conversation with, you know? Yeah, you'll understand. But, you know what? On a better note, remember that concert I told you about? The one where you begged me to take you? Well, I wanted to keep it a surprise, but I figured since you're feeling pretty bad right now, I might as well tell you to cheer you up a little. I asked Mom and Dad for permission to take you, and they said yes. And then Beverly and I spent all of last Sunday refreshing the page over and over when the tickets came online, and we managed to snatch 3 of them. Yes, so Beverly, you and me, we're gonna go to the concert. I know, right? So you better take that as motivation to get well quickly. Yes, we're gonna have a great time. I can help you pick an outfit that's fitting. And we're gonna drive and get something to eat and go to the venue, find our spots, and just enjoy the concert. Scream our hearts out. Well, scream our hearts out. So the only reason that is allowed for you to have a sore throat after that is because you sang so loud you lost your voice. Yeah. Exactly. I'm glad you're so excited. I'm too. Of course, I always like to spend time with my favorite sibling. I know I was a bit frustrated with you back when I was still living at home and you were younger and I was younger and, you know, all of that. But I'm an adult now, so I can look past all that and appreciate you for the little buddy you are. No, I'm glad I have you. I couldn't have asked for a better sibling. Oh, thank you, honey. You're the sweetest. I'll still call you little monster, though, if you got on my nerves a little bit. Well, no, I'm sorry you have that title for life, but it's meant lovingly. Yeah, like little Gaga. You're my little monster. Alright, are you done with your cough drop? Okay, good. Then we're gonna get your NyQuil ready. I know you won't like the smell or the taste. I always hated it too, but it's gonna be good for you, okay? Alright. Open your mouth. Alright. Very good. Now you gotta swallow it and then we can wash it down with some water. I have your water right here. Here you go. Alright. Yeah, it wasn't that bad, was it? Of course. Oh, you have a headache. Let's see. Keep that on your forehead, okay? I think it's gonna help you. You don't feel as hot anymore there. Okay, we'll tuck you in all properly, because you're probably gonna get pretty drowsy pretty soon from the medicine. Shh, it's fine. You're not gonna get me sick. Don't worry. My immune system is incompromisable after I lived in a college dorm that I had to share with Helena. God, you don't want to know how messy that girl was. Trust me, I've been exposed to bacteria I didn't even know existed when I lived with her, so my immune system is a tank now. And even if you should get me sick, That just means that you'll have to take care of me when I do. Alright? Then we'll be even. Yeah, of course. No worries. I'll stay here till you fall asleep. And if you wake up and you need me, you can always yell my name. You know I'm a light sleeper. I'll wake up and I'll come for you, okay? Okay. I guess I can read to you. Sure. Let's see. Is this the book you've been reading? For you to start. Medieval fantasy. I see you have good taste. Good. I guess I raised you right. Well, I guess Mom and Dad raised you right, but I'm sure I was a good influence. Alright. Is this where you stopped? Page 134? Of course. I'll start reading you some and you just feel free to fall asleep whenever, okay? Alright. All she could make out in the fog were its crimson sails, and while Kova couldn't see the ship figurehead, she could guess it was carved in the shape of a human skull. Pirates. Kova swore. It would be foolish to attack Kova's entire fleet. She did not think all of the pirates in the Vindric Ocean could amount to enough ships to take on her navy. But the fog provided them cover enough, and the Rhodanese navy enough confusion that they could cause some damage. Tenzin, Kova shouted to her Reaper captain. Don't let them board. A series of smaller shutters made the deck beneath her tremble once more. Grappling hooks. Tenzin, a tall, son-of-a man nearby, began to relay orders to his Reapers, Rodan's elite fighters. First and second squad, he shouted. Cut the grappling ropes. Don't let them swarm us. Third squad, form an archery line. Keep them down. How were you able to stop at such an exciting spot? Oh, I see. So that's why you wanted me to read this. All right. Sorry. I won't keep you any longer. I'll let you know how it goes on. But the ropes were not cut in time. A roar erupted from the side of the ship where the crapless had fallen. The sound of running feet and combat told her that, somewhere in the fog, a horde of wild, bloodthirsty men had streamed from the pirate ship onto the deck of the Crown Conquest. Her Reapers were there to meet them, and the two forces collided with the sound of crashing metal, shuffling feet on wood, guttural grunts and shouts, and the screams of the dying. Do Mom and Dad know you're reading this? Okay, fine. I won't tell them. But if you get nightmares, do not blame me, okay? Goddess, how can anyone be dying yet? Kova wondered, feeling cold. The soldiers had only just joined in battle, and already she heard screams that could mean nothing else. A form barreled up to her out of the mist, and every muscle in Kova's body tensed. She took a step back, hand moving to the sword at her hip. She was proficient with the weapon, but no expert, and she had never been in a real battle before. Your Grace. As the shape became clearer, she recognized the ship's captain, Rakar. The ram hit us above the waterline. If we can pull away, we can salvage the ship. At least someone is competent on this vessel. Thank you, Captain, Kova said. Rakar saluted and turned back to the deck, shouting orders at his sailors. The mist had started to clear, and now Kova saw her initial fear at Rakar's approach had been unfounded. Her 2 Reaper guards, Flock and Grost, stood on either side of her still. They and a pair of 2 other guards took shifts following her everywhere she went on the ship, and stood guard outside her chambers at night. She had been annoyed by the practice at first, wondering why on earth she needed protection on her own ship full of her own soldiers, but now she was grateful for their presence. Both men had weapons drawn, their dark blue tunics damp from the fog. Beneath that, their grey plate armor reflected a soft orange glow. Kova turned immediately to see more pirates boarding the Calm Conquest, torches and weapons in hand. "That's quiet," Tansen screamed over the battle sounds. "Focus on the torch-bearers." By now, General Horace had joined her on the upper deck, the bow of the ship. Tansen commanded her Reapers. Hora commanded her entire army. "Your Grace," Hora said, breathless, "I've mobilized the forces below decks. Our numbers will soon overwhelm them, if nothing else." Kova nodded, still wary of the battle. She trusted her generals, more so than she trusted her ex-admiral at least. But that the thrill of simultaneous excitement and terror reverberated in her bones, unwilling to fade. Another squad of Rhodanese soldiers in light blue tunics and bright mail had already formed up and were firing on the pirates, but now turned their attention to the men carrying torches. They fired a volley, and 6 torchbearers fell, many of them into the water. The Crown Conquest lurched to starboard, trying to get away from the attacking ship, but the ram and harpoons held it too tightly. Over her shoulder, Kova sensed a shadow moving. She turned to see another ship, much larger than the one that rammed the Crown, pulling up alongside them. "Tansen." "I see it, Your Grace." Tansen shouted at his Reapers to split, and half of the elite force moved to starboard. Fortunately, the Reapers were not called elite for nothing. With the cover fire from the Archer squad, they were holding off the pirates from the first ramming ship well enough. To starboard, 3 huge planks crashed through the fog and onto the Crown Conquest's deck, one of them smashing into the upper deck where Kova stood with her guards and captains. 2 massive steel claws on the end clamped into the deck boards. They would not be easily moved. Immediately, more pirates wielding torches and weapons rushed across the ramp, eyes alight with fire and violence. Kova drew her sword. Her guards and the soldiers nearby fanned out in formation to protect her, but she could not afford to stand by when they were so outnumbered. With any luck, some of the Reapers on the main deck would make their way up to where she stood to reinforce her position, but Kova could not rely on it. They would have to make a stand on their own. The ship that had lowered the gangplanks was a dark shadow in the fog, barely discernible, but the shadow seemed almost as large as the Crown Conquest itself. This could not be happenstance. Her luck could not possibly be this bad. Calic intelligence must have been tracking the movements, and Cal had hired these pirates to attack when her fleet was at its most vulnerable, blinded by the fog. The pirates could not defeat her entire fleet, and the Calic government likely knew that. But it would slow her navy down, and then attacking the flagship with her on it would cut off the head of the Rhodanese Empire before the war even started. Kova was not about to let that happen. Pirates rushed across the plank that connected the 2 ships, screaming as they ran. Faces wild, eyes of fire. She braced herself, planted her feet as she's been taught, sword at the ready. The pirates crashed into a small group with battle cries and the slick sound of blades cutting flesh. Her reapers held strong, easily dispatching the pirates. And behind them on the other soldiers, Horus and the disgraced Admiral Strongst waited for any who might break through. Kova stood last, tall in her gilded and blue-painted armor, sword ready. Wave after wave of fighters crashed into the force before her, more and more slipping through the front line of her reapers. One managed to break through, and Kova struck him down, her sword, threading through his wild swings to pierce through his unarmored chest. Not for the first time, Kova wondered whether she shouldn't have heeded the counsel of her advisors and stayed in Izet. It was traditional for the head of the empire to accompany Rodin's armies on any large-scale campaign, but her presence was needed at home too. Izet needed rebuilding, and the political structure was fragile at best. She had left the mother of her dead husband, Hama Mandiat, to rebuild the rule in her absence. She brought Andaelus with her, who was part of the ruling council of Rodin, and, as the once betrothed of the dead Emperor Grisel, was as close a thing to an heir as she had nowadays. But protocol insisted they travel in different ships, should the unthinkable happen to one of them. Many criticized her for the decision to bring Andia along. Andaelus was the daughter of her father's most prominent political rival, and those closest to her suspected Andia might have ulterior motives. And that might be true, but Andia was a valuable ally and had become Kova's friend. I'm getting sleepy yet? It's okay. It's okay. Just drift off, close your eyes, and relax, alright? I'll be right here and you'll be feeling all better. Wherever Andia's ship was, Kova hoped it was not under attack as well. Another wave of pirates crashed into her guard force, and a man broke through unscathed. She caught a glimpse of glittering piercings in his scarred face, and then he was bringing his broadsword down on her. She blocked the attack with her blade, her muscles straining and hand aching even from a single blow. She could not last long against this man. She leaned out of the way of another slash from her attacker. He was not particularly fast, but he was strong. Another strike, and Kova parried, deflecting his sword with a magnificent ring that pierced the air. Pain shot through her arms and hands. "Protect the Empress," came a shout from the lower deck, but the glance she sent that way cost her a precious fraction of concentration. And when she turned fully back to her opponent, his sword was already coming down on her. She brought her own up to parry again, knowing it wouldn't be enough, and then an arrow shaft sprouted from the pirate's neck. His eyes bulged beneath piercing eyebrows, and his strike faltered just enough for Kova to knock it sideways and plunge her blade into his chest. The pirate slumped to the deck, just as loud, bellowing horn echoed through the fog. Kova froze in fear as the blast echoed again, thinking the two blasts surely meant another ship would soon engage with them. But then the men in front of her returned and retreated across the plank to the large ship, still shadowy in the fog alongside the Crown Conquest. Admiral Strong's made to follow them. Wondered how in oblivion the consul had ever suggested this man to lead her armada, but Kova shouted his name. Strong's turned to look at her, bloodlust in his eyes. Kova only shook her head. They may have won the battle on the Crown Conquest, barely, but there was no telling what awaited them if they followed the pirates onto their own ship. Turning to the lower deck, she saw the pirates there had retreated too. A faint, mechanical click echoed across the water, and then the large, shadowy pirate ship to starboard began to glide away into the fog, leaving behind the three wide, barbed planks embedded into the Crown Conquest's deck. The pirates must have triggered some release mechanism at the hinges. The barbed ends of the planks would take time and great effort to remove. The smaller ship that had ramped them to port disengaged, and the Crown Conquest shuddered again. Soon the Crown Conquest was alone in the clearing mist, crippled and listing to starboard. I guess you've fallen asleep. That surely is an odd story to choose for a good night story. Sleep tight. No worries. Your big sis is here to protect you. A big thank you to my sweetest teas, Radio Pierce, Lihua, and Holly Henry.